It's Ragarath. I am back with another video on Techtonica, and Firehose have just released another update video for us, and this one is about blast machines, and we have Joey today. So let's have a listen and see what Joey has to say.
Hey folks, it's Joey from Firehose, and I'm here with this week's update. We're going to be focusing on the blast machines today, the blast smelter and the blast drill. These are two new machines that are coming with the base building update. And just a quick word, this should be our last update ahead of the base building update. So our last weekly post. You'll get a weekly post next week that'll be right before the base building update drops. That's the patch preview video. If you're new here, we use those patch preview videos to go over all of the banner stuff that's actually going to be part of the update. So expect a much longer video that details so much of what's in the patch as part of next week's update. And that will also be shared again with the patch notes on Steam and on our site. But for now, we're just going to stick with the routine of introducing some new stuff that you've not seen before ahead of our update next week. Right, the blast machines. Blast smelter, blast drill.
Oh, let's
get into it. So there are two different machines that we're introducing with this update. We're going to start with some concept art for each and then kind of show you some gameplay of them in action. And I'll shut up so you can hear them actually fire off because they do sound cool. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about how they work and the interesting gameplay loop that they provide. So let's start with the blast drill. Andre actually came to our art team and said,
bombs on a drill.
I need a drill that works on explosives, and our team jokingly put together this blast drill with 3 bombs sticking on the end. It's not the real thing that actually evolved. So the blast drill now has these massive bits that fire forward when there's like the concussive force from the mining charges that go into the drill. And it looks really awesome in motion. So here you'll kind of see a few seconds of gameplay here, and I'm going to shut up just so you can hear it.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Right, so that's the blast drill.
Ooh,
Let's talk about the blast
smelter.
Well. Similarly, it also works with mining charges, which I'll talk more about that in a few seconds. But we started with this need to kind of showcase what a smelter would look like if it wasn't a slow, steady burn like you see with the current smelter, and instead was this one-time massive pop of fire and heat, right? So we have these 4 smokestacks around the outside, and then there's this top port for flame exhaust, and it almost looks like an upside down like rocket engine. Here that is in motion inside the game, and again, I'm being quiet.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
Cool. So I mentioned that these present a new loop. There's a lot of stuff to talk about here. So we believe that this is pretty unique for a factory game, but these two machines actually run on mining charges. And the loop is one that sets up some consequence and discovery. So let's start with the mining charge element of this. You're going to need to use mining charges to fuel these machines. They are explosive based. That means that you're going to need to create a lot of mining charges. We've made sure that mining charges...
I don't think that's a problem. We don't really have much to do with mining charges as is at the moment. Once we've made enough to uncover our Atlantum nodes, there's really not much use for mining charges unless you want to go around blowing up the whole level or something like that.
Are relatively cheap and also made from infinitely renewable resources. So as long as you have a good kindle vine and shiverthorn farm set up with an assembler, a couple assemblers, you'll be able to make these indefinitely. You just need to make sure that you're making enough to fuel your full blast operation. These machines, once they're hit with these mining charges, actually give you access, the primary versions of access to new intermediates. So the blast drill gets you into iron chunks, copper chunks, atlantum chunks, and the blast smelter gets you into the slabs. So there's iron slabs, copper slabs, steel slabs. So that's the primary path for these new intermediates that are bound thanks to the mining charges that you're using in the machines themselves. But the gameplay loop is more than just giving you access to new intermediates. We wanted these machines to kind of challenge players. If you don't correctly time the input lines for your fuel, you're actually not getting these machines to work optimally.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've You've got to have them take in material at the exact right time to make them work. I like that as a gameplay loop.
So as you upgrade the blast drill, we'll start there. You need to hit this thing with the right number of mining charges in order to yield double resources. So if you time your mining charge line correctly and load up the machine so that as soon as the cooldown's done, there's the exact number of mining charges inside the chamber, you'll actually get double the resources. The consequence? If you goof this up, you're going to use all of your mining charges in the chamber in one shot. The queue is completely eliminated with these machines. Once they explode through all of their fuel. So if you have too much in there, you're wasting mining charges. Not enough, and you're not getting the optimal amount of resources from the machine.
Okay, I really like this as a gameplay thing. The only problem is to set up proper timings at the moment. We have to put down an awful lot of belts and complicated belt setups to make this work because we don't have anything that actually controls the timing from a splitter or something like that. Yeah, that's my only worry with this at the moment. But obviously in the future we'll hopefully get something like that.
And if you have it just right, you actually get double with the blast drill. Pretty awesome. The smelter works similarly, where the queue will totally be erased if you have more mining charges in there than you need. It's a system that sort of pushes players to master logistics and master belt and inserter timing in order to get the best possible output of all of the blast machines that they have in a line, right? And it's different for each machine. So if you've mastered the timing for the blast drill, don't expect to be able to just hook that up to the blast smelter. It has a different cooldown cycle length, and that means that it has a different demand for fuel. We think this is kind of an interesting way to push you a little bit and kind of force you to think harder about conveyor belts and inserters and everything else. And we know for a fact that you're going to get this and want more options for logistics, right? So after this, in a few months, we'll be dropping the logistics update that includes vertical belts and stack filter inserters and more stuff. We'll talk about that as we go, but it is.
So hopefully that's timed splitting, or, you know, even perhaps filter splitters, maybe?
Stuff that will help you conquer logistics problems like this one. We think the blast machines are pretty darn cool, and we hope that you're excited to mess with them in the base building update when it drops next week. We cannot wait to share that with you folks, and we're really excited to see what you build, the factories you make, and the outposts and everything else. We've been having a lot of fun with them, and I don't know, I can't wait to see how bad we are at base building when the community finally gets a hold of it and shows us how good they can really be. We think we've made a lot of really flexible pieces, and we're excited to see what you do with them. So please, once the base building update drops, join us on Discord, share your creations with us. It's Joey. You'll find Lauren as leftmost puddle, and we'll see you next week with the massive update video.
Excellent.
Talk soon.
Cool. So yeah, next week is the release of the base building update, guys. Make sure you, as always, you know, go and watch the original video of this, and enter my competition to win a copy of Techtonica. If you're watching this and you don't currently have a copy, I'm releasing one, not releasing one, but I'm giving one away for the 0.2 update stroke Christmas. This was kindly donated to me for giving away by Firehose themselves. They've given me a Steam key. I do not have an Xbox key, unfortunately, because that's a bit more difficult to do. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye all!